And man, I love it. And then just seeing Matt Murdock back. And Kevin Feige, though, did troll Marvel fans a little bit. He's like, well, if we make another Daredevil movie, he'll be in it. So, and then the next day you hear everyone's like, oh, Matt Murdock's going to be in another one. No, he said
Yeah.
if.
Yeah. If.
But that was cool seeing, man. And because I think Daredevil might be my favorite. Daredevil and WandaVision are my favorite MCU properties. I just love how street level Daredevil is.
Oh, agreed. Agreed. I recently rewatched the whole series of Daredevil, and in my opinion, it's the best MCU TV show. It is.
Elektra, man. I think she's cool too. That was perfect casting.
Elektra nails it. Elektra nails it. And
I like Bullseye too. Like he's scary.
Yes.
I think about him sometimes. I'm like, that's a good villain. He's scared.
Yeah, he is.
And
it's good that he's not actually dead. So they could eventually bring him back, because this is what comic. That's another complaint that the YouTubers go for. Why do they keep recycling the same? That's how comic books work, bro. Since the 1930s, they keep bringing villains back. That's the way it is. He's getting his revenge. Oh my God. Anyway, the Spider-Man movie. This Spider-Man movie, you are rewarded for watching everything else, like you were mentioning before. You know, it feels like homework where you have to go back and watch it. Not necessarily. They do a good job of explaining what it is. The three Parkers managed to keep their personality. Tobey Maguire, he's still the muted, kind of calm. You know, you get the streetwise vibe from Garfield. And Holland is just a child, but he's starting to grow up a bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I always felt that Garfield played the best Peter Parker on screen. That's my opinion.
Oh, wow.
He had the best Peter Parker vibe, because eventually in the 2000s, that's how Peter Parker started to act. He wasn't a child anymore, but he was still not necessarily an adult. And he was a little bit more guarded.
Hey, real quick, is something wiping on you when you're talking?
Oh, wiping? No, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm hearing like a.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, cool. Sorry. I know it's the end of the pod. I probably should have said that sooner, but I was like,
no, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, just jump back into it, and I'll fit it back in.
Okay, so anyway, like I was saying, he's a streetwise Parker, and he's an adult, but not really. He's in the perfect sweet spot of where Peter Parker is in the comics. So I always like Garfield.
I guess I never read the comics, so watching his character, I missed the earnestness of Tobey Maguire, if that makes sense. But I wasn't familiar with the character in the comics. I think Spider-Man 2 is so good. What's your Spider-Man ranking, by the way? Before we get out of here, what's your Spider-Man ranking?
Let's see. Well, this one, No Way Home, and then number 2 from Raimi, number 1 from Raimi. Man, that's it. The other one's just, I'm just going to leave it at that. That's it.
Oh, man, I like it.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Because it's not Andrew and Emma's fault that The Amazing Spider-Man weren't great movies. That was 100% just Sony, and that was just total. It was total greed.
Mm-hmm.
Those movies looked good. They looked good. The costume was awesome. But again, how many times do we have to see Uncle Ben get killed?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you make Electro into just this CGI monstrosity? Look how much better Electro looked in this movie, just wearing basically like work clothes.
And then introducing the Sinister Six, and then
low-key Sinister Six.
Yeah, no,
beautiful.
2's my favorite, I think, and then I really like Homecoming, but I say it a lot because I worked on it.
Yeah,
so I like it nice. I mean, I like. All right, so these are the ones I think about. I think about Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1 and 2 from Raimi. I think about Homecoming because I love Keaton in it, and I think Zendaya is really cool, and I love how small scale it is.
Yes,
I love that.
The best Spider-Man stories have always been just Spider-Man deals with Situation X as a regular person would. Oh, by the way, he also has superpowers and can throw a car at you. That's what makes it interesting. And then that moment when Keaton is in the car and the light goes from red to green. He's like, oh, wait, this kid's Spider-Man. Oh, my God. Chills.
So good.
Chills. And you know that he's not superpowered, but you don't doubt that he can't kill Peter.
Oh, man, great. That's an all-timer. Keaton kills that, man. Oh, my gosh. And is it bad, though, that I really haven't thought about Spider-Man No Way Home since it was released? I remember sitting in the theater enjoying it, but ever since then, I haven't really thought about it. And I think one thing about it is there's nothing really weird about it. It's just an all-around good movie.
Right. It's okay.
But like there hasn't been like, Eternals. People are like, oh, this movie sucks. Like, no, it doesn't. So that's kept me thinking about it. When I
Right.
think about Black Widow, it's me like analyzing my thoughts about it, my expectations, and Yelena in Hawkeye. I think it's really
Hmm.
kept it fresh in my memory. But
Hmm.
Spider-Man No Way Home, since I've watched it, I haven't really thought about it. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but
Well, it's because a lot of these Tom Holland movies are basically Iron Man 2.0. You know,
yeah.
it's so much with the armor, and with Tony Stark, it's not so much about Peter. And the best part of this movie is that it resets Peter to kind of where he was in the 80s, when he used to live in just this terrible apartment in Chelsea, when Chelsea was a bad neighborhood in the 80s, and he was like dating Black Cat, and he was just, still he was still very street level, dealing with a lot of street level things, and just broke.
That's
So
what I
this,
like.
yeah, these movies, the next movies are gonna be more about him. But yeah, the Tom Holland ones not so memorable, which is why I didn't really put them in there. But they're not bad.
No.
Holland's not bad. They're not bad, but they're not super memorable. I remember more about Eternals than I do about the first two Holland movies.
Hmm.
This one here with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man have always had some cool team ups. So that's why it was great to see it.
I completely forgot
And
that Doctor Strange was in it.
you see, this is my point. So Doctor Strange and Spider-Man have always had some great team ups in the comics. And Doctor Strange actually does try to help him do this in the comic books. He makes a deal with the devil to save Aunt May, and they erase his marriage, and then he resets to being Peter Parker. But eventually, yeah, he does go to Doctor Strange, and this is some of what they say is almost verbatim from the comics, as Doctor Strange is trying to do that spell
Hmm.
to try to get people to not remember him. Yeah, so it's a lot of little nuggets for people who are deep into the comics are in there. But again, it adds to the flavor. It doesn't take away if you haven't seen or read these things in
Okay.
the past.
So of all these Marvel properties that were released this year, and I'm like, Norbert, you're going to a desert island. You're going to a really nice island for a year. You'll have wonderful lodging, plenty of food, but it's just you. And you can the only thing you can bring with you is one MCU TV show and one MCU movie. Which ones would you bring?
I'm bringing Daredevil, and
No,
I'm
no, from
bringing
this year. From this year.
oh from this year. Okay, from this year. Well, the movies. I'm bringing Spider-Man, just
Okay.
because he's my favorite superhero, and I can't live without Spider-Man in my life. And in terms of TV shows, we've had Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and what's the other one?
Like you said them all. The four: WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, then I think I'm gonna go with Loki because it was really weird.
I'm gonna take Hawkeye and uh, Black Widow because they're the least maintenance. Just put them on.
Yeah,
I don't want.
that's
I don't want to cry on a desert island.
no man. I'm gonna take Loki because Jonathan Majors just the build up to him is worth it.
An alligator Loki.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Alligator Loki's hilarious. And Loki having an actual arc.
Yeah, he does.
He realized that you know what? I actually am a dirtbag.
I'm a creep. We need
That's
a
the next
poppy
one to
version of
slow
that
down.
because that's already depressing enough.
You got to slow. Sorry.
That would take you like 3 hours to sing if you did a trailer version of Creep.
Seriously.
Hey, well, hey, thank you so much for joining me, Norbert. This was a lot of fun.
Anytime, brother.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Norbert Morvan, this is Movie Sold the Flicks. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.